Uh,
Happy Valentine's.
Happy
Happy Valentine's.
Valentine's.
Happy.
What we doing? It's Valentine's night. We supposed to be snuggled up.
We are snuggled.
We
We,
are.
s- we snuggled up virtually. You know what I'm
We
saying?
are snuggled up
Got,
virtually.
we
How
got a
about that?
virtual. We got a virtual snuggle going on. We virtually snuggle.
This
Uh,
was totally
how do I?
impromptu.
How do I do that? Like I'm
What, you
trying to.
trying
I'm
to
trying to.
snuggle with me on the
I'm trying
virtual?
to. I'm trying to give you a kiss,
Oh, mwah,
but
mwah.
on the camera. Like
Oh,
how
the
do I do that?
camera.
I
You gotta
can't
go
do
to,
it.
there's the little,
These cameras
anyway,
are so weird. I
uh,
can't do it.
so hello to those who are out there in the atmosphere and the element. Hi, Stephanie. I see her. Happy Valentine's. Thanks for joining us on Valentine's Day. We are not going to be here terribly loud. This is I totally pulled my love in this tonight. I was going to do a Facebook Live in our private. I have a private group for Black women over 40, the Thrive Tribe, and Barry and I, we knew we celebrated our Valentine's this past weekend because we knew that today was a Tuesday and we had things to do and it was going to mean like 5 seconds and it just wasn't making sense. And I had done this reel because I love doing reels and I love music and I love film and I love love. And it just inspired me. I was like, babe, we should get on live because I have these 10 green flags for relationships. And what'd you say?
I said no. I'm not gonna do that. I'm sorry. Go do it yourself.
Go do
No,
it
I
yourself.
mean, I told you. You know, when we talked, I told you that I saw the reel that you sent, and it was amazing. I was like, this girl, boy. I had to. I was driving when I was watching it, and I was just like trying to watch it. I was like, I'm about to get into an accident trying to watch this reel. And it was so moving. I was like, I need to pull over and watch this because I can't watch this while I drive. But it was amazing. It was and then
Oh,
you put you did a dirty one. You put my song on there. You was like, well, I'm gonna get him now. I'm gonna put his song on this reel. You
I
put
know.
one of my bangers on there. I was like, oh, with all the pictures and stuff.
Yes,
I was like,
that's my
yeah, that was
song
good.
too. That's my song too. So, if those of you who are watching, like, what they talking about, what reel? So, I put together a reel on IG as well as on my personal Facebook page. I didn't put the reel in my fan page where this is sitting right now on Facebook, but on my personal page. But it's also on IG. So, if you want to check it out, and I surprised him too. I just love doing reels. I love putting movement and pictures to pictures. I mean to music. So, but that was a surprise. But I wanted to. I came across, speaking of IG and reels and all that. I came across this really wonderful post that talked about the green flags, not the red flags. Usually, we're always caught up in the red
The
flags of
red flags,
relationships.
like, run, run, get away if they do this. Yeah, I thought that was
Yeah.
kind of clever. The green flags, I thought that was clever.
I did too. The
I thought that was
green
pretty cool.
flags. Yeah. And
And they're
so
very they're very insightful. Yeah, they're very
they
insightful.
are. They are. They're
Very
super
good. Very good.
insightful. And so that's what we are going to do in the next. We're going to try to keep this less than 30 minutes because Barry got stuff
Yeah,
with his
we got,
computer.
yeah, I got, I told you my limitations right now. So we gonna keep this real brief, or
Yeah.
or it's gonna be like,
Because he's just going to
where did he
figure out
go?
where
What
did
happened?
Barry go? So if Barry disappears, I'll hold the
Like
fort down if
poof.
we're not quite done. But yeah, we'd love to hear you guys if you're out here watching, whether it's in live time. I can't always see all the comments because I don't know. I'm on StreamYard. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. But definitely on YouTube, I know if you are on the YouTube, I can see your comments. But if you have comments, you want to, chime in. If you're watching this later, we'd love to hear your comments and your thoughts. But we're going to run through these. There's 10 plus one. There's a bonus. I didn't like 11. I mean, I love the number 11, but I said we should just say the 10 green flags. There's actually 11 of them. But so we'll just kind of go back and forth. I don't know, Barry, if you have it pulled up. If you don't, no
Um,
worries.
you know what? I can actually pull it up.
Okay. Well, I'll start with the first one, and then maybe we can go back and forth, and we can just say a couple words. So listen up. I did try. I didn't. Let me see if I can type. I want to type the first one really quick here on the thing. I had typed it. I was all ready, and then it went away. So let me type it. Da, 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 da,
So,
da. You want to say the first one?
so the first one is how you feel matters to them as much as how they feel. How you
Mm.
feel matters to them as much as how they feel. So you go ahead.
Okay. So I'm going to say how you feel matters to them as much as how they feel. I'm going to put that
They
up
feel.
so you can. And, or they feel to you. Is that the word they're missing maybe there on that?
I don't know. It's
No.
kind of, it says
It's kind of
how you
awkward.
feel matters to them as much
Right.
as how they feel. Or
Right.
is that should that
How you
be
feel matters to them as much as how they feel to you. I
to
don't know.
you?
I think the biggest thing is this: you matter.
Yeah.
And yeah, you think?
Yeah, your feelings like for you, like how you feel matters to me
Yeah,
just as much as how you feel.
exactly.
About how you feel. Like how you feel about how you feel, it matters to me just as much.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that's what I think they're trying to say is that like how you feel matters to me as much as how you feel about how you feel.
exactly.
So it's like
Right,
the person that you're with, if they need to be able to really tap into your emotions and feelings and it be just as important to them as it is
right,
to you.
right.
That's really what's important, I think.
That's what's really important.
That's a green
Exactly.
flag right there. That's a green
That's a
flag.
green flag. So if you're with somebody and your feelings matter to them and they take it as seriously as you do, that's a green flag. If that's not
Yeah,
the case,
that's it. Yeah, and it's particularly important for guys because we tend to discount like
uh-oh.
women's emotions and stuff. No, I'm gonna say it. I mean, what? Come on now.
No.
I ain't scared. You know, it's like we have to value the woman's feelings and emotions because they're real. No matter what you think, like what you're thinking, how she's feeling
Hmm.
is just of utmost importance. So you gotta tap into that.
That's happened. I appreciate that. And ladies, the same thing with your men. And I know that a lot of times with men and and depending on love languages and all the things, you may not always know how they're feeling. I think for women sometimes that can be challenging. I don't know how readily men always express every moment how they are feeling, and what is really mattering to them and what is not. And so I think sometimes, it can feel like we're fishing or trying to figure this out. But I think that taking your counterpart's feelings, whether if as a woman and, if you are in a heterosexual situation and you're with your partner with a man, then yeah, really understanding, attempting, to empathize with him. So, all right, that was that. We got a lot more to go through. So we may have to
We,
do part two.
yeah, we gotta keep it moving. We
Yeah.
just on number
We're
one. We
we're
just
only
been
on number
15 minutes.
one. Lord. All right. So we're getting ready to go to the next one. The next one is this is a green flag if this is happening. And I wanted to also emphasize, we just said this in a very romantic sense, but I really think this is any of our relationships, even our platonic ones, like your friendships. Your feelings should matter. Your friends, those people who you love and feel connected to, it's a green flag. I think it's a good, healthy thing if in your friendships, your feelings matter. So this is the second one. Green flag. The person you're with, they are kind and respectful to others, especially strangers.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a
Oh, let me
key.
take that one
That's a
off. That's
key.
the same one. Yes,
That's a
that's a
key. Like I don't think I've told you stories of like before you and I started, swerving and stuff. And I would go out with women. I would just notice kind of like how they treated the waitress.
Mm,
If they were just real, like just ridiculous, like just too much. I would be peeping that so heavy. I wouldn't say anything, but I would definitely be like, well, how is she treating? Is she saying thank you when she brings, when the waitress brings the food? Is she saying, oh,
mm.
thank you so much for that? Because I'm big on that. I mean, you've been out with me, like we've been to like 10,000 restaurants and whatever.
We've
What do
eaten
I do?
10,000
Like,
times. I don't know if it's 10,000 restaurants, but yes, yes, we go out. Yeah. Yeah,
we
go
go
ahead.
out a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah, and like when the waitress comes, like, I'd be like, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. We
And
just
that's
had a
important.
wonderful waitress. We were just talking about that this
Hmm.
we celebrated our Valentine's this past weekend, and we were at brunch, and that restaurant, she was outstanding, and yes, we were both
Yeah, that
really
restaurant
gracious.
was off the chain. It was just amazing.
Harvest
I
Room, those of you guys in Chicagoland area, Indiana. It's
Yeah,
actually it's actually in Munster, Indiana. But
yeah. They
yeah.
have a full vegan array, full
Yeah.
vegan array. And I mean, I'd be searching high and low for really good vegan spots, right? But
Yeah.
I have never, we've almost fallen out over some stuff when you went to a restaurant. When where were we at? We were somewhere out of town, and you pulled up at some restaurant, like, yeah, we're going to this restaurant. It was nothing but steak and lobster. And I was mad. I was like, I don't eat just salads.
Yeah,
So,
Barry is a
but
very devout vegan. Like you don't stray. Like you really do not
I
stray.
do, I do, I do. I ate some of
Mm,
your chicken wings the other day. I ate a chicken wing.
okay, for the Super Bowl, he had literally one chicken wing, you guys. Out of the
I was
whole
like,
the whole thing
"Hey,"
of chicken wings, he had
your
one.
chicken wings was looking real good. I was
They
like,
were,
oh,
they
these
were
chicken
good.
wings smell so good.
They were good.
And
But
you was like looking like just one. Make sure you only
I
get just
did because
one.
I only had nine. So anyway, all
All right,
right.
number
But yes,
two, number
number that
three.
was number two. So do number three for us, and I'll put it in the chat as you do that. What's number three?
They take ownership and accountability when appropriate. Oh, that is so
Oh,
major. That is so major right there.
it's very huge. I think you can be in like a really crappy argument, like a lot going on, and if and you can be really well. This happens. I'll speak for myself. When we have had our altercations, and don't sleep. That reel is beautiful. It is, and I love Barry very much, and we have a loving relationship. But we fall out too. We have
All
conflict
the way out.
all the way out, which I think is important
Like
for.
arms and legs all over the room, like into pieces. Fall out into
We fall
pieces.
out. We fall out. But one of the things that I really, and I know this is why, for me, why I continue to push for our connection, is because you have a very high social emotional intelligence, IQ, EQ. You're very aware of emotionally what's happening, and so with that, I think you reflect, you get still, and you're able to take ownership when ownership is due, when it's appropriate. And I think if you can take ownership and you can take accountability and responsibility and not wait for somebody else to try to manage that for you or pull that out of you or go through, I mean, that's huge for me. So um, I do think that I try very hard to do that. And I will be like, ah, but then I'll come back and say, I know, because I value that so badly. So,
Yeah, you have done that. You've done that a
yeah.
lot because when we fall out, I'd be like, Mama. I be calling my mama, boy. My mama and she an ancestor, boy. I'd be like, oh, mama. I'd be like, I need to get to my altar, boy, because like, mama, what y'all doing to me? What y'all doing? Like, no.
It's hard, and I don't want us to kind of get on here. We talk a lot about love and relationships, and we're always talking about how we want to do more. messaging in spaces like this in lives and have, conversations with people. And your cousin, Amira, who I love beyond, we all sit down and talk about this stuff a lot, because, we value relationships so much. So our attempt in talking about this tonight is not to, say, and this is what we do. It's just, again, I found this on IG. I did not write these. I found these on IG, on a post, and I just really, it really resonated with me. And so, we'll see. We'll see if we doing all. So far, we doing the green flags, baby. So far, we got the green flags, but maybe not all of them. So let's go to number. What was that? That was number 3. So we'll
That
go
was
to
number 3.
number 4.
It's kind of
Um,
related. It's kind of
yeah,
related.
it
They are able
is.
to apologize. Sort of kind of the same thing.
Yeah, they are able to apologize. Now,
Yeah.
apologize sometimes can be kind of rough for people. Like, they may say, "Yeah, I take ownership, but what I need to say I'm sorry for." Like, you know what I mean? I've kind of
Right.
seen that energy sometimes.
Yeah.
But
I think to say I'm sorry is really important because you really what I like about falling out with you. I don't like falling out with you. Let me just say that right. Let me just
okay.
say that right. I don't like falling out. But
Yeah.
when it does happen, it's like the healing. Like you really want to get to the healing. You know, it's really like I don't. I'm just not going to be in a relationship with someone who just really wants to be in that fallout space.
Mm.
I don't really like that space. If I'm with somebody and I love this person, I don't want to be in that space. I want to get back to the butterflies and the rainbows as quick as possible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't like the energy of like, oh, I can't stand you. I don't like that, you know.
Yeah. You're not
So
a conflict. I mean, you navigate. I think you actually navigate conflict pretty well. But yes, you definitely. I'm definitely the one that's. Let's go deeper. Let's keep going. Let's push. I'm not ready to apologize. Let's unravel. And you're a little bit more. Can we just take a minute and can we just, but I do think that you are very good at coming back and apologizing. And I think as women, we have to also allow, because I do think that men tend to, and I hate this, I hope I'm not being too generalizing too much, but the ability to sit and process and then come back and take ownership, apologize those things. Um, I think you do that very well. I'm very impulsive and rash and, but you're very good at, you need a minute. And once you digest the apologies, the ownership, it works
all right,
well.
we got to keep
I
moving
know we
because
got to roll. All
my
right, all
stuff
right. I
is
got to go.
my
Your stuff
my
is
stuff
dying
is
quickly.
it's
Okay.
going it's
We,
going.
yeah, we got 10 minutes. We got 10 minutes. I told you we might have to do part 2. That's okay. We don't have to rush. What's the next one? 5. Oh, he left. That was that. See, he done pushed something. I don't know what he did. He may he may have accidentally got it off, or his power went off. So hopefully Barry will join us back. His computer, he couldn't find his charger, so we'll keep on going. For those of you who are out here, hopefully he'll be able to join us. The next one is, this is a green flag. They honor and respect your boundaries. They honor and respect your boundaries. So I don't know if I can multitask and put this in the thing. I will see if I can put that in there so that you guys can see that. But with this whole idea of honoring, boundaries are the key. And I do think it's hard. I think it's very difficult. This is probably the most challenging part of relationships, is creating boundaries, and not only just having them in mind, but acting upon them. And then having your partner or your loved one being able to articulate that to them, and then them actually honoring that. Like that's a whole thing. That's a whole thing. And so I think when you are able to meet with someone, connect with someone, have a relationship with someone who not only sees that you have the boundaries, but works really hard to honor them, that's something you need to hold on in that. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing to have in a relationship. I hope Barry can get back in here. He may not be able to. I hope he may not. I'll text him in a minute. But I think in our relationship, and I would want to hear his kind of point of view on this. I think that this is something that we constantly sit, and we just recently have been sitting down talking about kind of what we need right now in our relationship. What are some things we need in order to get some other things accomplished in our lives, get some other things taken care of, um, with our individual goals. And so it's, we're trying to help each other in holding the boundaries. You know, we are adulting. Barry and I are 50 plus. Those of you who are just coming in, welcome. We're talking about the green flags, not the red ones, in relationships. And my partner was with us, but I think his power went out on his computer, so he may or may not be able to step back in. So hopefully he will be able to maybe change computers and come back. But this idea of honoring boundaries, I think if you don't have boundaries in your relationships, or you guys have, or the two of you have not discussed what those boundaries are, well, it's going to be hard to honor and respect them, right? Because now you're guessing and trying to figure out. And I think a lot of times we want people just to kind of read our minds and understand where we're at on certain things, or where our lines are. Or we're too afraid that if we mention our boundary, they may not, they may leave us, or they may reject us. Um, oh, I see that he's trying to get in, but I have to tell him, Barry, if you can hear me, you have to connect your devices. Okay. I think, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. He's trying to work on it. I see you. There you are, baby. There you are. You made it back.
Made it back.
I was holding
Had
down for
to, had to climb the mountain. Had to fight some gorillas and some bears and stuff. Just trying to get
it.
back to you. Just trying
Thank
to
you.
get back to you.
Thank you. We're talking about honoring and respecting boundaries. And I was talking about how recently you and I mean, I didn't give all the details, but I was just saying how there's some things that we're trying to accomplish in our individual lives. And we recognize, there's certain boundaries we need to have in order to have more space to do those things in our individual lives. And how, you know, we had to articulate, like we literally had to sit down, talk about kind of our needs and how this line is going to be. Now, granted, we every weekend we try to tussle. Are we within the boundaries? Are we doing what we said we were going to do? But we did have a conversation. I don't know if you have anything you want to talk about with honoring and respecting boundaries before we go to the next.
Yeah, I mean, I can come at it from a different angle too. We had a recent, you know, situation, and a couple things came up. And one of the things that you and I have talked about like for the longest is that when we do get into these fallout states, that it's important to have rules, rules of engagement. Even when people are like even when countries are at war and trying to kill each other and stuff, they have these quote unquote rules of engagement, right? Even when they're trying to kill each other.
Mm,
So when, like, for me, like if you're in a relationship with someone, there are rules of engagement. Like there's things that you just shouldn't engage in when you're having an argument, or you're like having some difficulties or some challenges with people. You have bound you should one, set some boundaries, set some lines that you shouldn't cross with each other.
right, right,
So I think
right.
that's important to it's important to me. I mean, people can do what they want to do, but I think it's like if you're really trying to resolve whatever the problem is, and you're not just being difficult or just want to have an argument or want to fight, like do what you want to do if it's that situation. But if you actually really want to solve the problem
Mm,
or resolve whatever issues that you and your love is having, then you should set some boundaries, because you don't want to cause more damage and injury when you're
mm,
trying to resolve some problems. So you got to
mm-hmm.
say, okay, you could just you could, this far and no further in these areas. These are off limits when it comes to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, boundaries. Yeah,
No, I think that's, thank you
boundaries are
for talking
important.
about it. They're super important. They're super important. Robert Harris said, friendly fire is never friendly, my brother. I don't know. I don't know if it's friendly, but I do think we have to have respectable fire. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a
I
little
mean,
bit of fire, but
when you're talking about a gun, yeah, you can accidentally shoot somebody. Yeah, you didn't halter your weapon. You didn't put it on. You didn't put the safety on. You know what I'm saying? It's an
hmm
accident.
hmm hmm
But when you're in a relationship, I don't really believe in that. I
yeah.
think and then I'll let it slide one time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because maybe it just slipped. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, okay, I got to set the boundaries now because
Right.
you don't know how to holster your weapon. You don't put the safety on when we in the middle of some stuff, and you just let stuff
Yeah.
just start flying. And that's not gonna be good for nobody. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
So you gotta halter your weapon, man. You gotta put your stuff on safety.
I like that. Okay. All right. Next one. What number is this?
Oh, am I doing the next one?
Sure.
Let me
I think
see.
it's number 6.
These things, these are bullet points. Let me see. One, two, three,
Oh, I'm
four,
sorry.
5, 6. No, no, no. I gotta
Their
count
words. I think
and
it's,
actions align. Yeah, their words and
yeah.
actions align.
All right. Their words and actions align. Let's show that one up. So, how about that? A green
Oh yeah.
flag. Now, this is, I think, a typical red flag. Is that
Hmm.
somebody is saying a whole bunch of love, a whole bunch of what they're
Hmm.
gonna do, and their behavior is have nothing to do with it. Um, and so again, I think this can be tricky because we have to be careful not to just fall constantly in love with potential, those words, and never seeing the actions. um, and I think it's easier said than done sometimes too, because I
Hmm.
think a lot of our intentions are that we are gonna be in alignment with our word, right? And so maybe a lot of the times we are, but maybe sometimes we're not. But I think if you're with a partner who is mostly in the space where they try very hard to do what they say and be of their word, I'm big on follow through and word and what you
Hmm.
say, and make sure you kind of do that. And if you can't, if something has changed, my energy is very much just let me
Hmm.
know so that I now am not waiting for the thing that was said, and things happen and people change their minds. And so I'm
Hmm.
big on words and actions aligning. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I mean, you and I have had lots of um, conversation around this area. um, and I've done a lot of work myself, just work, just personal work. Um, because and this is very personal for me. A lot of times, people, they say certain things, but they don't really have any intention on really doing those things.
Mm,
They don't want to, you know, be mean, or they don't want to say no, or they don't want to seem rude, like all of that stuff.
mm-hmm,
Um so it's a it's a big shift in someone's character, in their whole mentality, to align their words with their actions, because the society is not really even set up that way. So let's just keep it 10,000, right?
mm,
But it's important that our words line up with our actions for so many reasons. One, so that we can manifest,
mm,
in order for
mm-hmm,
us to really, like, everything that you have. You said something and then you did something, or you thought something and then you said something and then you did something. everything. There's nothing that you have in your life that exists in your life. You had to think it, and then you said something, and then it appeared in your life. So it's important for your words and your actions to align, especially like when you're in a relationship. And if the person that you're with, if they're saying things and then it's not aligning, like something is off, like they
Mm-hmm.
say they're gonna do something and then they don't do it. I would say like just observe it for a little while and then just kind of like talk about it. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
think to pull back from like you said you was going, why ain't you? you know,
That that's do I look like that? I just yeah,
you know how
no.
y'all be getting. You know how y'all be getting. You know
I
how
was
y'all
gonna
be getting.
say it takes me a
You
minute
know,
sometimes.
whatever.
Sometimes
You know,
I'm
I
and then I'm like, oh, I'm
I
sorry.
don't I don't know. I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for other guys. I'm not a guy spokesman. I'm not the spokesman for guys. But for me, you know, when a woman says she's gonna do something and doesn't do it, like I don't really care. It's just like whatever. As long as it's not like, as long as if she says she's gonna give me my money back that I loaned her and then she don't, then I'm gonna be kind of bringing that up.
Oh Lord.
But or is this a family friendly show? Let me.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't
Okay,
know.
I'm
It's
not gonna. No,
late. It's
I'm not gonna go
Valentine.
into it.
Okay.
I'm
All
not gonna
right.
get this all the time. Anyway, so yeah, let's just stick with the money. But yeah, I think it's important for just your words and your actions to align because it helps the relationship. If one or two people, if one or both people are saying things and then it's not aligning with what they're doing, the relationship is going to be off.
Yeah.
It's going to be like it's going to be
Yeah. It's lopsided. I
lopsided.
agree. And it
you
really
know,
throws off trust. I mean, I
it
think
throws
for
off
me,
everything. It throws off
yeah,
trust,
yeah,
expectations. It throws off your like how do I relate to this person? Like
right.
trust. Yeah, like you said, trust.
That trust is a big
It,
part because now how do I lean into what you say?
right.
And you have to be able to lean into what people are saying so that you can keep developing. But we could go on a lot about this one. That's a deep one. This
It's
next
six
one is
thirty. It's 6:30 already. We
it's
need to like.
8:30, 8:30, baby.
Is it
We in
six?
Chicago. I don't know what
My
your time zone. Yeah.
yeah.
We're
The
gonna go a
clock.
little bit longer because we're almost, well, we're kind of all right. All right. Well, this is number 7. Here we go. Here we go. Because it's Valentine's night. Yay, happy Valentine's. They are willing to have hard conversations. This goes right in kind of with what we were talking about just a moment ago. So this idea of actions aligning up with your words. All right, so let me say this, and I hope I don't step on toes with this. I think sometimes in relationships, because we do not want a feeling of rejection, or because in fact we really do really want to be in relationship, like we want love, we want connection. Some people, they want the social media posts, but no, but more than that, they want, we don't want to be alone, and that's completely reasonable and normal because we are human beings, and humans, a part of our health is connection. But what can happen, I think, is in an effort to keep things in a neutral space, those things that we know are more challenging that are happening and we see and we feel, whether if it's just I feel it or I can see you're feeling something or there's something going on, we may not want to bring it up because that may trigger, that may, we all know that may cause the whole. So then we just kind of hold it in. And so this just keeps building and building and building and building. And this is when now a lot of extra stuff starts happening in a relationship. So if you are willing, though, to have those hard conversations that, yes, someone may get very upset or disappointed or triggered or what have you. At least if you're willing to have those hard conversations, you're not having that internal swell and you're able to approach it for whatever it is. I don't think having a hard conversation always equals, and now we're connected in love and joy. I mean, sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. But I know that if you don't ever have those conversations, you're kind of living, to me, in my opinion, a bit of an illusion of a relationship, because you've tried to keep everything in neutrality, and there's some belly work that might be happening there that could actually cause you to grow more. Honestly, you could, as you to actually get even connected even stronger. But if you don't allow yourself to get in the belly and the more challenge, sometimes you're living a little bit on the surface. And when life does whop you, it may be harder to really lean in. So I don't know. What are your thoughts about willing to have hard combos? We do, we go there. We ain't having. I'm not having no relationship unless we're having. it's it's not happening. But what are your thoughts, baby?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I totally agree because imagine like trying to like build muscle or get strong, get your body stronger. Like you can't really grow without like some uncomfortableness.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't. You can't even have a baby without being like, ah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a part of the package. It's a
Part of the
part of the
package.
package. Like I think you said you said something about some people that were in a relationship and they never really had an argument before,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm just like, huh?
Yeah.
Like, so when you all are at dinner, you just decide to, like, you just agree on where y'all going and, like, what y'all watching on cable, like, what color the car is, like everything, like what time y'all go to bed, like everything is agreeable. I don't know. That sounds real Stepford to me.
Oh, yeah. We say Stepford when it's like.
Right. That sounds real Stepford wives to me. You have to be able to, because like you say, and like I agree, like relationships are about growth, and to grow you have to get uncomfortable. You have to get a little
Yeah.
uncomfortable, and those hard conversations, and it doesn't have to be like every week. Like, okay,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
got to have a hard conversation. Like, if you're doing the work on yourself first of all, and then you're doing the work in the relationship, they're gonna pop up. you know
Yeah. Because more,
and
especially when
sometimes
you're doing,
inconveniently, right? Sometimes it's gonna be
I
inconvenient.
said, especially when you're doing that personal work,
You're doing that personal work. Yeah,
it
it's gonna
really
pop.
is, because you're going to start, more of you is going to come out. And that person, again, we can't expect our partners to be mind readers. And while they can be watching you shift and change and become and grow, unless you are really talking a little bit more about what's happening, they now you're asking them to just follow, and it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So,
And
all
I
right,
think people, yeah, yeah. So we can go to the next one
we go to the
because
next
we can
one.
stay. Yeah,
I know these are good. All right. So the next
I could say
one.
some more stuff, but we could go to the next.
All right, you want to read the next one?
They move
Mm-hmm.
through conflict with the hope of repair.
Mm. So, kind of segueing from where we were, so let's we have the hard conversations, but we shouldn't be just having hard conversations because just because I'm, like you were saying, just irritable, which can happen. Just, I just and some people, I think they're the opposite of no conflict, and those people who just are in constant conflict and who just stay in conflict and
Yeah,
never
that's a
get
problem.
through it. Yeah.
But it's not. A lot of times, the conflict that some people find themselves in is not really real conflict. It's not
Mm,
really deep, like healing, because any deep stuff that is worth really being in a protracted conflict is trying to get at some wounds that need to be healed.
right.
A lot of times when people are in conflict constantly, it's about just petty stuff, like you said you was gonna take the garbage out and you didn't take it, or
Well, it's really because that's
just
not the root of the problem. Like, so
right.
so if you're finding yourself in the constant about the trash or about the toothbrush or about that same thing, you haven't got to the belly of, you haven't really got to the root. And a lot of times you haven't gotten to the root because, again, the boundaries have been off. You haven't been willing to have the hard conversations. You're not really understanding the other person's feelings. Like, all of these things really feed into each other. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think if you can go into conflict and more challenging conversations with the hope of repair, with the
Right.
hope that, let's see if we need to move through this and get to the point so that we don't keep having this same argument, or that I'm not
Right.
just always so irritable, um, then that's a different lens than just no, 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 no. It's just,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think it sounds obvious as I'm describing it, but I think this happens way often, is that people don't move through conflict. They may utter their discomfort or their disliking, but um, they get stuck and not really being able to get into the space of repair. So instead of they, what do you think about us with this? We gonna be vulnerable. How you think we'd be moving through conflict with the hope of repair?
No, I mean, like I said, we just had a little micro fallout, and it was, I told you, I was like, you're not gonna mess up my, I had plans for us, and we were in the middle of trying to fight, and I was just like, okay, what do I need to do to say I'm sorry? I'm sorry. Okay, whatever. Can we just move on from this? Are we good? And that's. I mean, am I right? Am I pretty much
Yeah, I
accurate?
mean, and I think he's simplifying it. But
No.
I think I have the type of personality where I'm like, yes, of course I'll take your apology, but I do need you to understand what was happening here for me so that it doesn't keep happening. And so I think that is kind of the hope of repair, you know.
Yeah, it's really getting through the difficult conversations so that you can mend or repair whatever the not just to say, okay, I'm sorry, and you haven't really solved the problem, or at least understood each other to the point where like what the discrepancy was from the
Right,
beginning.
right,
Yeah,
right,
you
right,
gotta
right.
you gotta get to that point before you
I
can
get that.
say I'm sorry. You have to know what you're sorry for, and then you have to be like,
Yeah.
you have to know what you're really being sorry for. I had to do that with two of my boys today. I was just like, these little knuckleheads. He was just like, I'm sorry, Mr. Riley. I just want to go on a trip with y'all. I was like,
Barry
no.
does. He's a counselor with a group of young boys trying to become men, and
Yeah,
they in middle school, so it's a little rough. It's a little
you
rough,
know,
but
it's like, I'm
and
sorry. And I was
but
like,
this
what you
is
sorry for? What you sorry for?
the
I think I was like,
And these green flags are not, we're talking very much in the romantic sense because we're kind of using ourselves as kind of the center of discussion. But I said this earlier, and those of you who are joining a little bit later, I think this is the case with pretty much any type of close relationship, because siblings, family, friendships, all these things pop up. And I do think that with friendships, it's very interesting. I want to talk more about friendships, particularly those of us over 40, 45, 50 plus, because I just have, and Barry and I talk a lot about friendships because I crave, deep connection and intimacy in my friendships too. It's not, I don't only just crave that in my romantic thing, I crave that in my friendships. And for me to consider you a friend, I want to be able to move through conflict. I want to be able to have the harder conversations when they're necessary. And I have just found that to be very difficult. I do feel like a lot of sometimes friendships will sit in the safe space as to not ruffle feathers or what have you. But I think we have to start thinking about all of our intimate relationships. Family, very similar too. Can we have those harder conversations? I feel very, very blessed, super, super blessed to have a family that I grew up with. My McGuire's, they go in, they're like, oh, what, where we at? And so that's a lot of where that came from for me. My family wasn't afraid to, like, boom, boom, boom. Now, I'm not saying by any means that we were in repair, but getting to the talk about it. That's how my father disciplined me. My dad did not hit me and throw me off. My dad was like, you need to explain to me what was going on with you. And a lot of times I'd be like, it just hit me. Like I don't really want to have to explain all this, like just because this is too hard. And so I was raised in an environment that you talk things through and you figure it out. You figure it out, and if you can't, then we come back to it. So
Yeah.
anyway,
All
all
right.
right, we got another one. Next one. Let me take this one off. What can you read? What's the next one? We're almost
They
done.
they see their part and put in effort to understand themselves and others.
Say that one more time.
They see their part and put in effort to understand themselves and others. I don't when she says they see their part, I don't.
I think maybe they see their part in the relationship,
Mhm.
and see their role, see their part of how they've maybe contributing to whatever a challenge is, and then
Right.
they put in effort to understand who they are and the others. Now this is a challenge. I think is for people to me. This is saying, how reflective are you? Are you able to reflect on who you are, understand who you are, and then put in and then put that even into your relationship? So like working on yourself while still being in relationship and seeing the other person's part. I think that's what that's saying. That's hard.
Mhm.
It's hard to do. What do you think?
Yeah. It is challenging to understand yourself. Um yeah, we were talking about this the other day. Or today
Mhm.
maybe. I think I was saying
Yeah.
how yeah, it's a bit of work to understand who we are. Um because and it's that's like really important because if you don't really understand who you are, you're always operating from a false sense of yourself.
Mm.
So
Mm.
it's difficult to really understand others. Um, so yeah, you have to really, and this is you know how like you and I have talked about how people are comfortable in their skin, and you can tell um, people that are comfortable in their skin. Someone that's in a relationship that's not really comfortable with themselves, it's gonna come out in the relationship.
Big time.
um it's gonna come out, so it's just important to really get to a space, a place where both the guy and the girl are comfortable with themselves, and then it'll help the relationship because they will allow each other to just be themselves.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you and I talk a lot about that first time that we got together
Hmm.
um at the winery, and like we weren't performing. Usually with a guy, you trying to like, yeah, what's up, girl,
Right.
yeah.
You gotta put that in there.
Yeah. you try to do something so you can, see what's up. But it was none of that. And the
No.
girl is trying to whatever she trying to do. Uh, and
No.
we just clicked into each other. It was just, you know, uh, it was just talking and laughing and having a good time. And we were like, I knew that you were comfortable with yourself. You were comfortable with your skin and what you was about. I was definitely
Mm.
comfortable because I was like, I'm here with you. I already knew though. I already knew because I did my research. So
We I was gonna say we had a really beautiful conversation before we actually physically met. And I felt really comfortable. Like just,
yeah,
that conversation was so fluid. It was so easy. Your affect was so calming. So I knew, so that also really helped me, be at ease. Like I think sometimes when we get in performing is if each person isn't really showing up, it's like, well, I guess I'll perform here. Well, that make you show up.
Yeah.
You got to really show up.
They're putting on some kind of, you know, they act in some kind of role or something, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Um
yeah.
but you can't really, and this comes out, I'm telling you, this comes out when people in a relationship, the person can't really seek to understand the other person because they're still playing a role.
Yes.
So even if they're trying to understand the other person, they're they're still just trying to understand the role the other person is playing. Like, what role are you playing? Who you playing
Mm.
today? You know what I'm saying? It
Well,
gets,
yeah.
so it's a that's a big thing. This, like, they see their part and put effort to understand themselves and others, because you have to really be vulnerable and authentic to even get to that point.
Yes.
So all right.
No, it's. Thank you. I'll just say this, and we'll go to the last one, second to the. There's a bonus. We'll go to number 10, and then there's a bonus
Oh,
one. So there's
you got
actually
a
11.
bonus one?
Well, no, it's on there. The bonus is the last one on the sheet that you
You
have.
did tell me this was gonna be 30 minutes.
But you know what? We your thing
I'm just
died, and
I'm just
then we
messing
came
with you.
back.
I'm
We're
just
gonna be
messing with
off,
you because
baby, in 8 minutes, no longer than an hour. Okay,
I'm just messing with you, girl.
I know. I
I'm,
had to I
I'm,
had to get him to
I'm
do it impromptu. I said, "Oh, baby, it's gonna be 30 minutes." Anyway,
um,
okay.
eight. You ready?
Well, no, I was just gonna say.
Oh, you had
So
something you
so
want to say?
so
Okay.
so so I think sometimes we get caught up in like he said, she said, or this is what you got to do, and act like a woman, act like a man, with all that stuff. Think like it's too much. It's too much. And I feel like I see a lot of women have all of these. I'm only speaking from women because as a woman and I talk to women and I hear women, I'm not saying I don't know, men may do this too, but I hear too many, I'm in too many spaces where I hear women checking all these boxes that have to be said or done before they will show up or before they will put an effort to really get in that vulnerable or show who they are. And I think that we have to, if you want to actually have connection, guess what? You can't just have the representative always sitting there. You have to be willing. And I'm not saying on the very first date you got to just be, but I do think that on that very first meeting, there's an authenticity. If
You
you
have
want
to
to have a
show up,
second meeting
right?
and you
You have
want
to
the
show
second
up
meeting, yeah, to be
authentically. You
good.
have to show up
Yes, you
because
do.
I've told you my stories. Like, if you show up and you some whatever, I'm like, there will not
Well,
be a second. There will not be a second meeting at
no,
all. Because
authenticity is key, and you can
it's like
use
there will not be.
discernment. You can use discernment and decide what you're ready to talk about. But this guarded, hard, that l- let your light shine.
And
Let your light shine.
don't even go on a date if you're gonna be that way. Because I mean, and this is just my opinion. It don't have to be the right way. It's not the right or the wrong way. It's just like, in my opinion, if you're gonna go on a date, like, what are you doing? Like, you're going there to really show yourself, your authentic self, so that you can. I'm thinking, so that you can see if this person is someone that you can, have a second date with,
Exactly.
or a third date,
Exactly.
someone that you can, like, really get to know. But if you show up and you like some other person or some other, you know, then it's like, what are you doing? Like,
Doesn't
you're
what
wasting.
doesn't work. And this will be my last point on this, and we'll go to the next one. Is also give space for each other to talk about themselves. In other words, don't take up all the airspace, men or women, just talking about yourself. Give Say who you are and then give space and ask questions and allow the other person to share who they are. So and take awareness of that. I'm hearing a lot of that too, where people are showing up on dates. And to be honest, I'm hearing it more from women saying men not asking me any questions about myself. Now, I'm not saying that's always the case, but I think, yes, talk about yourself, but give space for the other person also to talk about themselves. So
Yeah, not necessarily what you do, but who you are.
yeah, who you are.
Not
Don't
what
get
you
caught up
do.
in, because that's the other part. Yeah, okay,
Not.
That's the
That's
other
what
part.
you
People
do.
spend way too much time talking
Who
about
are
their
you?
jobs and what they
Right.
do and
Who
their
are you?
activities. Who are
Right.
you as a human, as a
Yeah.
soul? Yeah, 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 yeah. That was, I think that's what really clicked for us. All right, the 10th one. The 10th one. They create, this is a green flag, if the person creates safety for you to share yourself. I didn't even read that. Yes, that's what I just said, right? Okay, let me put
That's
that
what
in
you
the
just said.
thing.
Yeah.
Let me put that in. I didn't realize that they built this just according. So when we first met, I think we both shared a lot about ourselves. Like we shared a lot. Do you recall kind of what, I don't know, what made you, was it just that you felt like safety was being built and so you shared, or I mean, what was it for you in sharing a lot about yourself? Because we definitely do
I
this a
mean,
lot.
we had a maybe one, maybe two like marathon conversations.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
epic, was the word I think I used. Just
Yeah. You
epic
at the end you were like,
conversations.
this was an epic, this was epic. Yeah.
This is epic, and I've had some epic conversations with women. So for me to say that it was like epic in a category of epic conversations, like I've had epic conversations, and this was that was like the first or second conversation we had. I was like, that was some
Yeah.
epic shit right there. That was some epic. Like we went in with each other.
Yeah.
So by the time we got together and sat down and was like eating some food, it was summer, it was nice. We was at the winery,
Yeah.
the birds was chirping,
This was
angels was out.
this was like the
Uh,
first glimpse of COVID kind of, because this we met during the pandemic. So just to be clear, but it
right.
was
It was like we was like, should I take my mask?
yeah, we had masks and all the thing, but we were outside. We had our first date eating outside, so we could take our mask. Did we? Yeah, we had to eat, so we took our mask off for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was beautiful. It was, and I definitely, I still every day with you feel an incredible amount of safety, like real safety. Like that's for me one of the most beautiful parts of our relationship is that I don't feel like I have to hide myself. Like I don't feel like, oh, I don't want to. I feel like I'm excited to talk to you about what's happening in my life, and whether it be highs or lows. When I'm having a really difficult time, um, again, you're very good. You're very, very good at creating safety so that I can share. So,
Yeah, that's an important thing for people to do. Now I'm gonna have a somewhat of a hard conversation, and it's not really directed towards you at all.
uh,
It's just in general, with women and men, um, because you know, like you and I have talked about this too, about how innocent young boys are growing
mm,
up, and
mhm,
then because like you see it with your sons, I see it in the boys that I work with, but I don't see them having a safe space
mm,
other than when we're talking,
mhm,
where they can really be safe and talk about they ish.
mhm,
So,
mhm.
and I don't like with you. I think you do an excellent job with me being able to share some stuff because that first time we got together, I shared some crazy stuff with you.
Yeah, you shared some really deep stuff.
That first
You
time we
did.
met,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
were just you held the space. You know, I think I've even seen. I don't know if you remember this when Van is his name Van Jones
Hmm.
the
He wears a
the
purple tie every day because since Prince died. But
the
yes,
guy
I
that
know
worked
when.
the guy that worked in Obama's
Yeah.
administration.
Uh huh.
That
Yep.
guy.
Yeah.
He had gotten on some show. I don't remember what the issue was, but he just started crying, just like crying and stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't really think anything of him crying. I tell my
Mhm.
boys like, if the tears need to fall, let them fall. Like, real men cry. Shit, it's hard out here. Cry. I'd rather you cry than shoot somebody. Shit.
Okay.
Cry,
Yes.
cry. And whether you like,
Yes.
then whether you like jump out a window or
Right.
try to open up your veins, cry, boy. Shit. Yeah,
Cry.
cry, boy.
Yeah.
Get my shoulder, cry. Damn. But there was this
Yes.
woman. There was this woman, man. She got on social media. It was just dragging Van Jones for crying. I don't know what he was
Mm.
crying about. I don't care. So, so my point is, um, I really want to just put a plug out there for the women, like, just really give your dude space to. That doesn't mean he got to be all soft and mushy all the time, but if he needs to, like guys, like to tell you, it's hard out here for dudes. Like it's it's hard, it's challenging.
Oh, yeah.
So just make sure that you are creating a safe space for your dude, like that he could come and just lay on you and just be like, boom.
Mm,
He ain't even got to say nothing.
mm,
Like ask yourself, is your guy, is he laying on you?
mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I'm always laying on you when we watching movies and stuff. Like, move over.
And I think to have the space as women and not be resentful in that space, because I think sometimes women, we feel like we are carrying a lot of the load in a lot of spaces sometimes, emotionally or whatever. It can feel like, oh, where am I going? I got to now hold you. And I
It
think
needs to
that
go both ways. It
it
needs
has
to
to
be
go
able to
both
go.
ways.
It
That's what
has
I
to
was
go.
going to say. It has to go
Like
both
like she
ways.
needs to be able to lean on you and lay on you. Like is she
Yeah.
hugging on you? Like when you are, is she laying on you? Like you definitely be like all on me and stuff.
Yeah,
You
no,
know.
I feel so safe with, like, you know
But
that.
that's
I
good. I like
feel,
when you do that. I like when you
yeah.
lay on me and you hug me and when we're laying down.
And even a lot of that laying on you is just, it's my ability to exhale. You know what I mean? And yes, I am a mother of two boys. I have my own business. I'm working, at a university. I mean, I have a lot going on. So you are a very safe space to, let me just take a minute. Just take a minute. So, all right, we're past our hour. This is the last. This is our bonus green flag. The last one. You want to read the very last one? Oh, he done took himself off accidentally. All right, I'm gonna read the last one. He'll probably pop back up. He realized he clicked the wrong button. Um, they prioritize you feeling seen, heard, and understood. Okay, so a green flag. A green flag is being. This is the bonus. I had 10, but there's actually 11. There's 11. Is that whoever you're with, they are prioritizing, not just seeing, hearing, and understanding you, but prioritizing that. That's a really key word in this. And I think why this is such a high priority. When a person prioritizes your feelings, that in itself has so much safety, so that you can get into the belly of these harder conversations, so that you can get into these spaces, so that you can really, connect. Oh, he's back. All right, let me bring him back in. Let me bring him back in. What happened?
I don't even know. Jesus came and got me, and I got
Oh, well, took
he
you
was
away, but you're back.
took me away, and then I
Jesus
came
said,
back.
let him
I
come
don't
back.
know. It's
Well,
like
this is,
I was like, I gotta go. I'm doing this show. I gotta go,
I know,
Jesus.
I was gonna say, we do have, I am gonna let you go because I know you got stuff to do. This is why we weren't able to really be physically with each other tonight. But lastly, yeah, the person prioritizes you feeling seen, heard, and understood. How do you feel about that? Prioritizing that.
Yeah, it's super important because, um, if you ask the woman, how does she feel seen, heard, and understood? Like, how do you feel? Not you, but I'm saying if a guy asks his girl, his woman, how do you feel? How do you most feel seen, heard, or understood? Like, where are you? Um, it's an interesting question to ask, your woman, because
Mm.
when you are together with your your significant other, um, are you do they feel seen by you? Do they feel
Mm.
heard by you? Do they feel
Mm.
understood by you? That's huge. That's major because um, I'll use our our relationship in a as an example. Um, so the idea of seeing someone like 'cause, okay, so we were just talking about like how people when they meet and they are trying to do whatever they're trying to do, they're hiding, they're trying to dodge each other, not really trying to. So once you get past that, there's safety because I think people don't want to be seen because there's a safety issue.
Right.
So hold on, I got.
I forgot my water. I've been dying. We gotta get off because I don't have no water. But go ahead. No,
You want some?
whatever. Yes.
I'm just playing. All right. So to be seen by someone is really saying that, man, beyond all the representatives, beyond like even you trying to hide, it's like I see who you really are, and I love who you really
Mm.
are.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of the most powerful spaces like two people can get to one another when they really see each other. Um, because once you get to that space, and that's a process too, there's
Yeah.
levels to that. There's levels
Yeah.
to that. But that first level is 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 when you really see the person for who they really are, not who you think they are or who you want them to be or who they even think they are. Like you see them because they don't see themselves, they see themselves inside themselves. You see them from outside of even themselves. So your perspective of them is very unique and you see them for exactly who they are. Once you see that and then you can communicate that back to them like you're an amazing person. Like you're this and
Yeah.
you're that. Even a lot of times and a lot of things that they aren't really aware of or that they may be a little insecure about. That's you got to get to that point in your relationship where you're seeing that person. Like
Absolutely.
I would tell you, I would say to you, like, yeah, you got next with this Oprah stuff. You next, girl. You really, your podcast, how you do your shows. I've seen you speak in public many times. It's like you got it. You got all you need is the platform, and you got that. So to be
Yeah.
able to say that to you authentically, like you have it. You're a
Mm.
superstar. That's
Oh,
stuff like that, and it doesn't have to be stuff like on that level, but it could be just little bitty things.
absolutely.
So that's
No.
important. And then the herd part, um, to really allow that person's voice to be not just heard, but like really understood. Like
Mm.
like your voice, like you have a very unique and authentic and important voice when it comes to certain things. And you have to communicate that to the person that you're involved with.
Absolutely.
Because like if you value this person, like if you don't value, hell are you with this person for? Like
Right.
like why are you wasting her time and your time?
Exactly.
So
No. You. Thank you. You are so good at that. Like you see me. I mean that's why I think we just continue to build in this, connection and relationship. And I I make every effort to also, prioritize that you are seen, that you are heard. I'm constantly wanting to better understand you, so that I get into like, well, explain it this way so I can like understand it, because I think it's just so important that I'm understanding you so I can respect you. And I want you to feel safe to continue to tell me things, to continue to grow. And yeah, no, you are definitely cheerleader squad, cheer squad. You're very much of that in my life, and I hope that I do that for you as well. I think you're amazing. I say that all the time. I'm always in awe of how we were able to connect, and really have this connection. And I pray that it just it continues.
Ditto, baby.
And
Ditto,
yeah,
baby.
that
Ditto.
all baby, yeah, that baby. But and because I'm all about the Libra in me. I'm not a Libra. I'm a Scorpio sun, but he knows I'm all into astrology. The part of my chart that's Libra. Libra means fair, harmony. I want people to also know that we have conflicts. We fall out. We box. Not box, but we
we
challenge each
we fall
other.
out, way
We
out. We
fall
fall
out. We
way out.
fall out. We question, should this happen? We question continuing. It's a normal part of relationship building. And so I think that, just to kind of say this, Barry and I have both, we are in our 50s, and we have experienced relationship. We've experienced deep, deep, deep relationship outside of the current one that we've had. And so I think we both value relationship on a really high level. So I do also think that to have these green flags, you have to value relationship. If you don't value relationship, if you denigrate it, if you say negative things about it, if you're always irritable about it, you're always saying something negative about men, something negative about women, something negative about love, something, you don't value relationship. You don't value it. And it's going to be very difficult to therefore get in relationship that is of value. So you have to first decide for yourself, I'm not doing relationship just because I'm lonely, but also because I value it. I'm not doing relationship just because, well, I don't got nobody, so I guess, like really valuing it. I think that's, you have to value it to have it be meaningful. So,
Absolutely.
well, those were our flags. Those were our green flags. I hope
Those
you
are
guys had. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, babe.
no, no. I was just gonna say that was awesome. I thought it was very clever, very insightful to have green flags instead of red flags.
Yeah, we always talk about the scarcity. Don't
Right.
do this. Don't do that. I try very hard in these public spaces, these social media streets, these Facebooks, YouTubes, what have you, spaces, podcasts. I definitely use my voice for abundance. And that's not to say that I don't have problems. Okay, I do. And I made a point today. I said some happy Valentines to some friends here and there and girlfriends, and I had a couple friends that I said, I've been having kind of a tough time the past couple months, and I need y'all to know that too. And I'm fine. I'm fine. The tough times are for me. I don't look at tough times as bad. I look them as opportunity to push and to not push like work push, but opportunity to learn more about myself. Um, and I can cry and I can be sad and I can be disappointed. But a lot of the reasons why I can be sad and not have to necessarily go on social media and talk about it is because I do have these intimate relationships, i.e., Barry, other people in my life who, when I need to have a shoulder to cry on, my sister, my niece, when I need to really say, I'm not good, I have safe spaces to do that. And so I encourage you to find those relationships that have the green flags so that you can cry, so that you can fall apart. It's important to fall apart. We're not built to be these stoic things. We're built to fall apart and to be in repair, and to, that's how we grow. So that's it.
Ashe. Ashe.
Okay. Well, we'll have to do something clever again. We haven't been on
Abs-
this space in a while, so.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Any
Um,
final thoughts before we disconnect from
so,
from the peoples?
yeah, I mean, you said it perfectly. I think in relationships, like we're here to be in relationship. That's kind of how this was set up. So, whether it's romantic, whether it's, you know, brotherly, sisterly, family relationships, friendships, co-workers, colleagues, they're all relationships. So, let's just, I would say let's just strive to be the best people that we can be, like high standard, high quality people.
Mm,
And and we do that in relationship,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So that's it.
All right. Well, you guys have a beautiful Valentine. Thanks for spending Valentine's with us. And if you didn't spend it with us in lifetime, go back and watch it. I hope you enjoyed it in whatever time you're watching this. But we're going to get off, and I'm going to let Barry actually finish the things he needs to do for the evening. And I'm going to finish up the things I need to do. But we hope to see you guys soon. Barry, I'm going to push in broadcast in a moment, but don't you leave yet. Okay. You stay
Okay.
where you are. All right. So we'll see you guys.
Yes,
we'll
ma'am.
see.
All
And we'll see you guys next time. All right. Happy Valentine's. Bye.
right. Bye.